17th century painting attributed to a male painter was revealed as the work of a female artist. The painting, an oil on panel, is a self-portrait by Maria Schalcken. Maria was born in the Netherlands in about 1647. She was one of several women artists working in what is known as the Dutch Golden Age, a time of prosperity. Not much is known about Maria, but her self-portrait, executed in about 1680, tells us what she wanted us to know about her. Maria shows herself indoors at work at her easel with the tools of her trade. She has paused in her work to acknowledge the presence of the viewer. This means she will continue to paint, making her look like a hard-working artist, a quality patrons admired. This type of female self-portrait is not new. It was already in use in the middle of the 16th century by some women artists. For example, Catharina van Hemessen, a Flemish artist, painted herself at her easel in 1548. In her left hand she holds a palette and brushes. She rests her other hand on a handrest or malstick and pauses while painting a head onto an oak panel. Italian artist Sofonisba Anguissola painted many self-portraits. In one from 1556, she too shows herself at her easel, pausing in her work. On her easel is a religious painting of the Virgin Mary and the Christ child. A self-portrait was one way an artist could advertise herself. Artists exchanged self-portraits. They also sent self-portraits to prospective patrons. A self-portrait provided information about the artist's appearance. It could be true to life or better than life. A self-portrait also provided information about how successful the artist was. This was conveyed mostly through what the artist wore. Expensive and fashionable clothes were a sign of success. That is, the artist made enough money to buy such clothes. And a self-portrait advertised the artist's skill and what kind of style and subject she excelled at. Seated in the foreground on the left, Maria turns to face us, her right arm leaning casually over the back of a chair. Such a pose is lifelike and active. Catharina van Hemessen's more restrained, more frontal pose was in keeping with a quieter style popular in the 16th century. 17th century artists like Maria and Judith Leyster, another Dutch artist, embraced the contemporary Baroque style. It was lifelike, energetic, and dramatic. So Baroque artists opted for movement and activity, and an active body could suggest an intellectually active mind. Leyster opens her mouth as if to speak to us. This new type of portrait, a speaking portrait, is more lifelike than a non-speaking portrait. Maria, too, is about to speak. Her round face, rosy cheeks, and red lips are complemented by a pearl earring. Her clothes are fashionable and sumptuous. A lace-edged, long white veil hides most of her hair. She wears a blue quilted, short-sleeved jacket over a white blouse and a golden yellow skirt. The variety of fabrics is Maria's way of showing off her skill at painting fabric, a skill contemporary viewers admired. The rich red curtain behind her adds a luxurious note to the interior. It is raised to reveal a small head and shoulders sculpture executed in an old-fashioned classical style. The sculpture's presence suggests Maria has studied traditional and proper art, another admirable quality. The curtain hangs above and behind the easel, but part of it has been brought to the front over Maria's head. It draws attention to Maria in a theatrical, here she is, kind of moment. This is pure Baroque. And what is it that we are to note? In her left hand, Maria holds a malstick or handrest, a brush and a palette. With her right, she points to a painting resting on her easel. The painting depicts a landscape. The subject is significant. Landscapes were well loved by the prosperous middle classes, but it also seems as though not many women artists painted landscapes. Maria pointing to a landscape on her easel tells us she paints landscapes. In a self-portrait, the painting on the easel does not have to be real, that is, one the artist has already done, but it does advertise a subject the artist paints. No landscapes by Maria have been discovered. It's possible she created other paintings and landscapes that have been attributed to male artists. In fact, very few paintings have been identified as her work. In about 1675, she painted a scene of a well-dressed boy offering grapes to a fashionably dressed woman in affluent surroundings. This image of middle-class prosperity was in keeping with what some of Maria's contemporaries were painting. Maria's self-portrait was cleaned in the late 20th century, about 300 years after her death in around 1700. Maria's self-portrait had been attributed to her brother Gottfried. Her signature had been painted over. That's how one woman was painted out of art history.